All right,
What's
cool.
going on, my freaks and geeks? Thank you for tuning into the Square on Table podcast. Tonight, we are joined by an amazing actor and stuntman that can shred the universe down to its last atom in a snap. Please welcome Mr. Damion Poitier.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me out.
We're happy to have you here. How you been? How's your mental health? How you been doing? How you been hanging out?
Hang in there, man. It's been a crazy few years.
Of course, yeah.
A lot of life shifts, a lot of just self-examination, and that was interesting. And just looking at who you are and where you want to be in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I actually ended up getting a horse, which I can tell you, it literally saved my mind. Because I was so frazzled with all the stuff that was going on. Having that time of, this is a very large animal, and if you don't focus in while you're with him, bad things can happen. It's very clarifying.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was actually one of my points, because I went on your Instagram and I was like, oh, okay. What was his name? Sammy Valentine, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. So I guess he just has a horse. Because I was like, I guess I can ask him about the horse, because I mostly just went on your IMDb.
Right.
Yeah, so it's
I do a lot of different things, man. The acting is a big part of it, but it's interesting because my journey into our culture came from my desire to portray superlative characters from our culture, because there weren't very many when I started. I was like, I'm gonna play characters from fantasy and superheroes and amazing. Where the hell are they? So I had to do a deep dive into Black culture, Black history, American history, and all that to see the what's and the wherefores of how we got here.
Yeah.
And man, was that eye-opening.
Oh man.
Definitely.
Yes, it
Yeah,
really is.
Oh, okay. But I'm a fantasy head from way back. Seriously, one of my favorite movies is Fire and Ice, Ralph Bakshi. I don't know if you guys are down with that.
Oh wow, I gotta check.
I want to check it out. I watched it when I was very young, and the thing that hit me was there's two leads, and one of the leads is a brother.
Hey, I definitely gotta check it out now.
And he's a barbarian, and he's slinging an axe. I'm like, what?
Yo.
And of course, he rides a big black horse.
Of course, you got it.
I'm all in already.
I was like, yo, it's in its 80s, it's rotoscope, it's real old school. But I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I was like, yo, this bro is handling it. And I saw it at such an early age, and I think that's one of the things that kind of disconnected me from the reality of how common we were at the time. Because I'm like, oh, well, I see this, I see Lando, you know what I mean? It was like, I saw people, so it didn't occur to me that was it.
Yeah.
Back then,
I think we all had those moments, because like with me, like you said, the kind of first was Lando, but I was real young when I first seen Star Wars.
Yeah,
like, my first that I actually remember is Blade, and oh my god,
Yes.
oh my god, I was like, yo,
yeah, but that was the height of Wesley, and Wesley was handling it. So it was like, we missed some of what you said, Marcus. You froze up for a second.
Oh, I was saying, I was like, if it's more people like him in the comic books, I'm all in. So that's what got me in, and that's how I got the Black Panther, Luke Cage, John Stewart, Green Lantern, all those guys.
Nice.
Yes.
I actually loved and hated Blade.
Loved and hated.
Yeah.
What did you think
wow.
about
Same
it?
here.
I read the comic.
Okay. Yeah.
And in the comic, he's not a daywalker.
Yeah, he's not.
So it came to me that the dude who hunts bear with a knife is much more badass than the dude that hunts bear with a high-powered rifle.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
If you had Wesley that didn't have all the powers of a vampire, strafing through vampires like he does, using traps and his intelligence and just being a little.
That would have been dope. Yeah.
I'm saying that would have been, you couldn't use Wesley's physicality the same way, which is, unless he had, I'm gonna hit the serum, and the serum bumped up his vampirism for a little bit. You know what I mean? There were different ways they could have played it. That could have been like, oh, we're in a spot now, I better take it, but this brings me closer to being a vampire.
Yeah.
You know, there's some different things they could have did. Just that guy walks out of the woods with a spear and a bear pelt. That's a little more impressive than high-powered rifle.
Right. Yeah.
But what it did was amazing. It just the daywalker of it all was amazing. The blade of it all was not.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely wasn't getting touched by any kind of gun. He had that bulletproof vest on. That one scene with the cop scene is like hilarious stuff like that.
Man, it was everything. There was so much. And it's funny he did that because he couldn't do Black Panther.
Yep.
Oh
Yep. That's
yeah.
exactly why he did it. Yep.
Yeah, he couldn't get Black Panther, so he ended up doing Blade. And man, yeah,
Man, Wesley Snipes, Black Panther. That's something I'd love to see, though. I would have loved to see.
that would have been very interesting. I'm not sure. He's got the chops.
Yes.
Definitely has the chops. I wonder what that would have looked like. I'm gonna have to see if somebody I know has the script, because I know there's a couple scripts floating around.
There's got to be. Yeah, there's got to be.
Yeah, for sure. But
Oh, I'm gonna ask the question. No, one more question. One movie question. Since you're wearing a Black Panther shirt, have you seen the new Black Panther movie? No.
Not yet. I told you my schedule's crazy. I'm trying to lock out it's 2 hours and 41 minutes, y'all. That's a big block of time to have to be like.
That is.
yeah,
I can't do nothing but sit in the theater. I got a lot going on, so it's like trying to find that block has been tricky.
How do you usually watch like movies? Like, how do you do movie time with a busy schedule?
Thank God for streaming, and every once in a while, and this was a big one. And I unfortunately had just come off of a busy a lockdown. I was out of town shooting, but I got back the day it came out. So then I had all the backlog from being out of town, plus all the stuff that you had built up. So I was like, and I'm still trying to catch up. So
I understand that.
for sure. But speaking of shootings, because we all know that you also portrayed Thanos, the original Thanos. Like, what was the process of that?
Yes.
It was as simple as it was. I didn't know what I was auditioning for. Literally found out in the makeup chair. They flew me out for 2 days. We shot that one sequence, got out. The bitter realization that I can't use this to keep the role.
Yeah.
And keep the role. You
Yeah.
know, if I could have been like, I was Thanos in Avengers, different places my representation could have gone, and the different doors that could have opened would have been huge.
Yeah.
But that would have violated the NDA.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the
But you couldn't talk about it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I couldn't talk about the fact that, because when you do something big like that, they all of a sudden people give you offers because they know you're about to do this other thing. So they're like, oh, let's get you being a piece of this.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. And I knew, I was like, this is probably not gonna work out for me. Yeah, and unfortunately it didn't. But
I will say this. From just that little moment that you had as Thanos, just without even saying anything, like when I seen it, I was like, wow, whoever that's going to be in the MCU is going to be very intimidated, and they are not going to be able to handle him. Because I knew of Thanos, but I never really had a chance to read the comics when I was growing up. Yeah, but I knew he was like a big thing. And then when I seen him at the end, and when you did the little smirk and the I was like, I don't know who the guy is in that. I said, but he got it. He know what he's doing. So it's really surreal to have you here and stuff, because I used to tell the guys before they fully introduced him, I was like, y'all know that was a guy. I know about this dang internet over here, but yeah, I was telling the guys that was a guy in full costume and makeup when they first did. I was like, it's looking great.
Yeah, Ironhead, man. Ironhead, I don't know if you guys see them on Instagram. Man, they throw that out every 6. By the way, this was I get really pop on my social medias. I'm like, y'all need to let me know when you're about to do that, so I can make sure I got something going, so I can take advantage of it. One of my buddies, Mark Bernardin, did the Nerdalogs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I actually did a Thanos monologue for it. I'll send you a link.
Yes,
but he asked me to do it, and I was like, all right, man, all right. I was back and forth about it, because on one hand, I'm ready for that to be put to bed.
Yeah.
Because nothing came of it. You know what I mean? We're not doing anything else with it. I got other stuff going on. So on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, but on the other hand, I'll start those.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you can brag about that, man.
But there's nothing to gain from it other than a little bit of geek cred. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's not something I can run with. So I didn't do enough with it.
Yeah.
I've done much more on the Flash.
Oh yeah.
I did with anything that Marvel gave me. So it's that I can hang my hat on and be like, yeah, no, I was in the Flash for a bunch of episodes. So that's more of it's that aspect of it. Of how much did I do and what can I do with it? Or personal, because like I said, it was somebody else did them for 5-6 movies.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I? Ain't you that one guy that did that one thing that one time and it was over? Yes.
I was Thanos before there was the other Thanos.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was man number one before he was Thanos.
right?
How that is,
Right.
so yeah, that was cool.
No, definitely. I know. And you were also in Captain America: Civil War, right? That's
Yeah.
The hero merc.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing about that is they shot all the mercs in that scene had full like little bits. Like almost all of them had speaking lines and all of them had, and then they cut it that it was just me. And I was like, oh. Because I expected to just be one of the crew.
Yeah.
But like when we shot it, I wasn't hero merc. I was just one of the mercs.
Okay.
And then when I ended up fully realizing, I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm definitely
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was cool. In a way, it was really cool to get that little blip. On the other hand, I was like, it puts me in a bad spot if I ever wanted to show up again. But that dude didn't die.
Exactly.
He didn't die. So.
That was a dart. Like literally, both the Russos were like, "You're not dead." That was a dart. That was not. And they called me like 3 times when they were doing Endgame, and I was like,
right?
Like, me and Coach, I'm ready. It just didn't. Everything didn't work out. But it's like that character is still around in the Marvel universe, and is very underdeveloped.
Yeah, they could
So
bring
there's
you
a bunch
back.
of different ways that if that wanted to be reused, it could be easily reused.
You can come back and have a bigger role.
You know what I'm saying? That can end up being a character that was just doing that. We'll see. Who knows what the future is coming up?
Yeah, like they might. Oh, what?
I just said they never know.
Yeah, like they might just come out with a movie and just be like the Merc, starring Damion Poitier.
Hero Merc. Like crazy stuff that's going on.
Give you a whole poster and everything on the back of the wall, just a poster, just
Right.
That face I had.
Yeah, you never know. They just call you up tomorrow.
They got the number, but the phone's been ringing now, so I'm not upset.
That's good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The phone has been ringing quite a bit, so
that's good. That's good.
They can call. Let's see if I'm see what's going on.
Yeah, but speaking of MCU movies, like which one is your favorite?
Ooh.
It's interesting because Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU film.
Yes, come on.
Because it's a great film.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is my favorite MCU movie, though.
Okay. All right.
You see what I'm saying? Like the stuff, they did everything right. It was like super spy. They did a super spy movie. So the way that kind of rejiggered, how you do a genre movie, but then you make it superhero. That was the movie that set that off for Marvel when they were like, that's the secret. That's kind of became the Marvel secret after that. It's, okay, this is a heist movie, but it's a super heist movie. This is this movie, but it's that kind of made that thing happen. So and one of my close friends, the guy who one of the main fight coordinators on that, who is actually the Winter Soldier double, good friend of mine. Like I literally got him his first SAG job. So it was just a little like, oh my boy. Obviously an incredibly talented cat who got, he did Marvel fight stuff for years after that. But just being able to be like, yo, I mean, he was working, but in terms of his first pro job, I was part of that. So that was kind of cool to see that evolution. And that's why I ended up in Civil War, because he was like, no, I'm using Damion.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, he was like, and they were like, well, and he's like, and then they cut it around so it was just me. So you see, obviously it was a good move. Y'all just so good times there.
Yeah, for sure. But throughout the MCU movies and just in comics, a lot of times me and the guys have debates on who would win between. One of our more popular debates is who would win between Thanos and Darkseid.
Does Thanos have the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to run him the gauntlet. We're gonna have to run him that gauntlet. I feel like
he's got the gauntlet.
To make it fair, I feel like
Then he wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if Thanos has the gauntlet, Darkseid's
nothing.
Without the gauntlet, really Darkseid.
Yeah.
And which Thanos? Because he's had more and less power depending on, because there's some post-Gauntlet Thanos that was hitting in some ways than Gauntlet Thanos. So it really depends on which area you're talking about. Obviously not Thanos Copter Thanos. No, he get wiped by Darkseid. But
easy.
There's some early Darkseid stuff where he wasn't super.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite. You got to start being like, we're talking about 76 Darkseid versus 83 Sonic. You got to get into it if you want, because the tail of the tape changes from era to era. There's times we talk about animated Thanos versus animated Darkseid, because that's a difference.
That's a whole different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So movie Thanos because honestly, movie Thanos would have wiped the shit out of movie Darkseid.
Hands down.
Movie Darkseid wasn't doing that. Movie Thanos was just serving everybody. So
he took the Hulk out in 2 seconds.
He just dismantled them.
Yeah.
So bad he didn't want to come out.
He could have said, "Sit down. You not here for the rest of the movie."
I was like, I don't. That was my feelings.
He's like, I'm not even trying to fight him no more. He put me down. Nobody puts me down, but he did. So I'm just gonna hide. You handle him.
Even in-game Thanos, he wasn't playing.
Even like that. Like even when he didn't have the gauntlet, he was still putting Cap, Iron Man, and
he was like,
everybody. He was like, come here.
I gotta work for everybody.
The coolest part about that scene is he sat down and waited for them to come and approach him. Like he was that dude at that point.
That's the monologue I did, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Now I can't wait to hear it.
I can't either.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So just piggybacking off of villains, since we always had that discussion, another discussion we always ask each other are like, what's our favorite villains? And the guys know my favorite, even if it's a top 3, 5, 10, my favorite is always gonna be Magneto. But you know, what would be like your favorite if you had to choose 3? Narrow it down to 3, who would you choose?
Ooh.
See, the problem is this. Talk about comics.
Yeah. We're gonna go comics.
Let's think of comics. Yeah.
Favorite comics villain. Oh man.
See.
Trying to think here.
It's the top 3.
Magneto goes hard. I gotta say he's in there somewhere. Doom.
Yeah, thank you.
Doom's number 1.
Thank you. That's me right here.
Because Doom is right.
Yes.
Yeah. He is. Very right.
He's very right.
Every time Doom's taking over, the world runs smoothly.
Yes.
Then he gets bored, stuff gets messed up.
Even the Panther God was like, yo, you right.
Yeah.
Like, even
Let's not talk about that arc, though. Let's not talk about that arc. Because
I just got to reference that just to make the point more clear.
I'm with you, but no.
Yeah, I get it. But
I was very excited about that arc, and I was very horrified at that end. Like, I was like, man, when he comes back around, it's gonna be the joy. When he comes, he gonna come back. When is he gonna? He's supposed to come back.
He just never came back.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean, Hell's Kitchen? I was like, are you for reals? And I'm behind on books right now, and it's killing me.
I feel that.
Like I'm about 5 years behind on comics. Actually, probably about 4 or 5 years, and it's got a huge stack of unread books. Before I actually just was like, okay, I'm gonna have to take a break.
Dang.
And it's killing me. So I need to get into that stack, and then I need to catch up. I'm looking at stuff. People are like, oh, it's character. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. I promised myself I'd never be that guy. I was like, Wednesday is comic book shop day. Period. Every other Wednesday is comic book shop day, period.
Right?
Once a month, I'm going to be in that comic book shop. Yeah, man, it was, that's rough.
I understand that. Like, being busy, you don't get a chance to read a lot of comics. I got some stuff that I haven't touched. Like, I've been getting into the Image stuff, and, like, I haven't touched that in a good 3 or 4 months, man.
You know what actually really killed it for me, too? Kindle. Because you can just read a book. I got Kindle Unlimited, and I can read a book, buy it immediately. It's right there. I don't need I was always a reader before I was a comic book reader, and then actually it was comics to books, and I got deep into books, and then I started rotating books and comics. But the fact that I could just grab a book and just be reading anywhere, got 10 minutes, let's get 10 pages in, really kind of disrupted my comic book time. So. But once again, like I love pulpy fiction stuff, and I read, and I'm like, you know what I don't see? A lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a few that are holding it down, and it's very interesting to me because there's a growing up here. There's a flavor you want that's inspired by the U.S. but not colonized. And that's a very difficult flavor that's a very difficult line to run. I'm gonna have to write it myself because it's the only way. Because I've seen a lot of stuff that's good, but it's got some aspect of it gets a little too into the, how do I put this? It just comes off. I hate to use the word urban, but it comes off a little too.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know,
we talk
like,
about it all the time. Yes.
Yeah, it's like you could have stepped that back a few steps and still had a nice solid story and still had to be like urban does not equal black in my head.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's so many different aspects of black, and it doesn't have to be. And so sometimes a lot of the fiction gets into that, and I'm like, oh, would have been okay to just tell it to have influences of the culture without going into the more stereotypically populated aspects of it.
Like,
so I'm trying to figure, but I'm telling you, I'm working on some stuff, and it's 5 lines get caught up in something else. But trying to find that level, I give mad props to everybody who's putting it out there, because trying to find that just enough to get that need, but not cross over into something else is very difficult. Because I was talking about, like, I love Pulp Fiction, but if you look at Pulp Fiction, especially like pulps, like Doc Savage, that's all colonizer fiction. Like every little bit of it is, I'm going to come somewhere and it's like somebody messed with stuff, and now it got here, or took something they weren't supposed to take, and now I got here, and now I got to fix it. You know, where I went into, so it's like, it's all Temple of Doom. Like, what was, so it's trying to figure out how do you tell, like, how do you fictionalize it without getting into that? And I was like, the way to do it, I think, would be to have it be the person else brought it out, and you're taking it back. Oh my God, the Egyptian gods are rampaging across Europe. Take the sarcophagus back to Egypt.
There you go.
Right, just put it back where you found it.
It wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
Remember when you went there and they said this was a sacred relic and should remain here?
Yeah.
And then you were like, cool, and you
take it back,
right.
please.
That's pretty much
it. And then like they were like, you're screwed now, and you were like, why? What's that? Yes, why you messing with it?
Exactly.
Pretty much the plot of the Mummy movie is like they took it from there and said, don't take it. And Brent Fraser was like, I'm
no,
gonna
give it
put
back
it
to
back.
me.
Right? Yeah. It's like the whole thing is just, but there's a whole lineup. The brother that's cleaning up all that stole all this stuff.
There was somebody who wanted a movie from like the perspective of like the people taking back the stuff that Indiana Jones put in the museum,
right?
And taking it back to the freaking.
It belongs to the museum. It belongs on my mantle.
Right.
When my grandpappy put it. Because my great grandpappy, you guys remember that comic book, the Image comic, The 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray?
I gotta
love the concept, but it was so colonized, like to the point of having. I was just like,
yeah.
Like it obsessed me because I read and see so much where I'm like, I love this field and I love this arena and this concept and this world, but then you do this, and it's clearly you just had a little more. I was like, I like fiction by authors who have traveled the world. Like military authors usually have a little more of a worldview than just straight, I'm sitting in my small town, I have a good imagination and I have time, I'm gonna write a book. Those guys turn out some good stuff. But when you start getting into like the perspectives and stuff, you need somebody who's been around a little bit, who's done some stuff. And even sometimes they fall short, but you get a little more of it where you're like, okay, I could see.
Yeah.
But it's one thing for me that's always been problematic is that fiction all too often uses, like, I love the X-Men. Love them. The problem, though, is X-Men represents Black people. And I think there are a couple comedians that said this, too. The X-Men are actually dangerous. It's not just that they're different. They're dangerous. Like, whereas I appreciate you using this whole, you have this concept of danger, so they actually are dangerous. They're actually in the problem.
Yeah.
If these guys get out of hand. So the matchup doesn't quite work. Like I'm working on this one thing in my head, and I'm probably not gonna end up writing it, so I'm just gonna say it. Where use it so that humans are like the oppressed, and like the orcs are the prevailing culture. Think about, so the orcs have colonized the human lands, and now the humans are trying to fight off the oppression of the orcs. But just imagine, because they usually flip it
and make the orcs, the oppressed, and the humans.
But make the orcs like, these dirty, rotten humans, and make the orcs like the major. Like they have culture, they have all this, and they stolen a bunch of stuff from people, and they're like, y'all is just, and they're like, oh, you dirty humans never come up with anything. It's really flip it completely and just, they said, I'll find time some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, good. That's a
Yeah.
good concept.
it is, and it's crazy. It's crazy hearing you say all that because I literally go through that when I'm trying to write stuff and come up
Are
with.
you familiar with the website Royal Road?
No, I need to get familiar
Yes.
with it.
I'm sending you that link too. Is think of people are just putting out pulp books all the time, man. There's
Yeah.
like this genre called lit RPG. There's pulp. They just fantasy everything. They just put it up there.
Yeah,
And there's like several publishing companies that crib from there, and you're getting feedback and you're getting stuff like that. If y'all, I've said this before, and if you guys got something in your head, put it on paper, or
yes.
write it down and put it out there in the world.
And I've been doing that a lot lately. I've
Good.
been
Send me some links, man.
Yeah, I would.
Send me some.
Yeah,
We got to be doing it because if we want to see what we want to see, we have to do it. It's been conclusively proven that they will not do it. They will not be done for us.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the way to put it.
Most definitely.
Black Panther made $1 billion the first movie. Billion. Where's the 3 or 4 copycat movies that came out afterwards? Where's the 3 or 4 TV series?
Nothing.
Comic series, book series. Who took advantage of that and said, "Wow, that genre made $1 billion. We should do something else with that group that is obviously underserved because they came out and spent $1 billion on this."
Yep.
We were just now getting Alex Cross, which I'm looking forward to.
I am.
This.
My boy, yeah, that's my boy right there.
I'm looking forward to that. They tried to do. I can't remember the name of it. What's the thing that Michael B. Jordan did? The
Creed? They talking about Creed?
Creed. Oh man,
no,
Creed. Oh man, Creed.
You talking about the army?
Without remorse.
Yeah, without remorse.
Yeah,
Without
remorse.
But it was.
Good swing.
Yeah.
Good swing, man. Can't wait for Creed 3. But it's slowly starting to happen, and it's a slow progress. And I think one of the problems is we don't have the base of so many things being thrown out in the world that the prevailing culture does. We don't put our stuff out there.
Yeah.
And we have a much tighter margin of error.
Yes.
Because if it ain't good, people just come in.
Yes.
You don't get the shots. You're not gonna get 3 or 4 shots. You don't get book deals and movie deals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You mess up once, people are like,
Yeah, look,
good.
we don't get the M. Night Shyamalan treatment, or you can't.
He hit it hard for a minute though. Let's not act like he came out of nowhere.
No. He went in.
He had some good stuff for a while, but then it became one trick.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, he did some good stuff. Maybe this one will hit.
Yeah,
So he had that library, but getting that library together is the tough part. Like I said, if you got anything in your head, put it down. Write it I was trying to do graphic novels, but it's like trying to find an artist and locking them down. You got to get a lot to it.
Yeah.
Just write it in narrative form, put it on the web, and build your audience. Get your people going. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to y'all.
Yeah. Hey, look, we all going to it, so we all talking.
Yeah, it's like we gotta find it and do it. So that
For sure.
those who come after us won't have the same revelation we did.
You got to keep the pussy ball going. You got to get it going somewhere.
Yeah, I don't want people coming after us to be like, "Wow, I want to be a character, one of these crazy characters." Where are they? No, they should be bunches of them.
By the time they get around, they should already be pushing the ball to have people everywhere.
It should be like, let me pick which one I want to play. That's what I want. That's what I want the generations to come after us.
Yes, definitely.
And we got to generate that. And it's a more than uphill battle, but we about it.
We got to create the spaces for that everywhere, every space, every facet.
Absolutely. Any place you want to play. Get in there and do it.
Yep.
Or anything you want to do, thing out here. That too.
But speaking of just putting stuff out there, I went on your Instagram and I saw that you had you made your own D&D game on Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that before we get closed out.
My boy Hannibal Taboo is a beast, and he's always working. He's always angling like that. He's I came up with the idea. I was like, I know there's a couple, but I wanted to see if I could get together some professional voice actors, people of note of color, and do a streaming D&D campaign. There's Motherlands and Rivals of Waterdeep, and there's some that are good, that are putting it down, that are all color. But I was like, I want to get professional actors and voiceover artists and stuff like that. And I have it hidden.
Awesome.
And I was like, I want to do. And I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, we should put together a world that they can play in. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what about this one? And I'm like, so he had already put together a bunch of stuff, and he put it, and we should do this and we should do that. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And like I said, I'm stupid busy. So he kept stuff just kept coming, and oh, we're launching a Kickstarter. I'm like, we're what? And then all of a sudden there was a Kickstarter. He's like, and it was characters. man, I need a few things from you. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, we need them by this time. And I'm like, he called me at that time. He's like, got that stuff, right? And I'm like, what stuff? The stuff I said. I'm like, ah. So I'm freaking out trying to get, but it's the work they're putting in, the art. If you look up Hannibal Taboo's art, I put it in my Instagram stories. I always retweet the artwork, the world that he built, that I put a couple of small things in. The stuff that's going on with this campaign I'm very happy with it. I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of it. And from here, we got the book. Now we have the IP.
Okay.
So now we can start. We got plans for fiction. We got plans for possibly streaming game. There's possibilities. Like it can go anywhere because now there's an IP. There's that thing that we all keep thinking about but not doing is make it happen. So we have it now. So now it's up to us to capitalize on it, and up to me to make sure that I push time aside to get myself into it and get my touch and my feel into it. So
yeah.
But it's called The Sun and the Nation Beneath Our Feet. You can still order it on BackerKit.
Okay.
If you go to, I think it's my link on pretty much all my social medias.
Okay. Also,
So if you hit that,
Okay, cool.
yeah, check it out. And there's some other things we got going on down the line, and I'm very pleased with it. I think like we finished the glut of the book today, and we're starting to do format and everything like that. And I've been seeing pages, and I've been seeing work, and I've been like, so
that's great,
we got
man.
ice, we got a book, we got T-shirts.
Oh,
So it's popping off.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm glad because like I saw that.
Once I start hitting the conventions again, I'll have my books, I'll have my T-shirts, I'll have my dice sets and stuff like that. So I can start instead of sitting there with 4 pictures, I guess. Here are 4 things you might remember me from.
Yeah.
Now I got a little bit more going on, and there's some video game stuff coming out in the future that'll be of interest.
okay.
I'll actually be at the Game Awards on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool.
might be talking about some
Great,
All right,
great.
guys.
Great,
You know,
No
have the
surprises,
opportunity.
no nothing, just
So-
the NDA.
Right.
Right,
So, yeah, well, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Thank
Very
you
much
for
appreciate it.
coming
We should
out.
do it
Oh,
again.
yeah.
sometime.
No,
Thanks
man,
for coming out.
thank you for coming out, man.
We got to do it again. We have
Oh
more
yeah,
time to wrap it
definitely.
up.
You're always welcome
No,
to
most
back.
definitely. Most definitely.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can tell we can do 4 hours and y'all just have to do a Damion series. In this hour, he drones on about this thing.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, we don't want to take up too much more of your time. Basically, yeah, so you can just go ahead and close it out, Demetrius.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to promote on here? This is your time to shine. Whatever you're doing, that you can talk about. Shout out here.
Tune in to the Game Awards. Check out the Sundering.
Cool.
Actually, there was some behind the scenes pictures taken of me in Vancouver doing something with somebody super speedy.
Okay. All right.
So there'll be more of that coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else I can- See, the problem is, what can I talk about?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
got to up my Q rating so that they're like, please talk about our stuff. Because right now they're like, nothing. Literally, I was working on it, and they're like, don't anybody post anything. And then The Rock posted a picture with me hanging in the background, and I was like, posting this? They're like, yeah, go ahead and post it, please, and we don't care who's in the background. I got to get there. So we're working on it. We're getting there, gentlemen.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Again, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I thank you for being
And we
here.
will do this again.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming
Let's
out.
Oh, yeah, we'll
to
have
do
you
this
out
again.
again.
Yes. Most definitely.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Damon. Have a good night.
And it's that time again, everybody. It's time for a
Shameless.
promotion.
awesome.
Oh,
If you want nice, I like that.
I really felt those runs, bro.
I really
felt
felt that
them.
whole entire thing there. I really in the soul. Yeah. Felt that. Thank you for that. Thank you. If you want to view our podcast, you can view us on squareroundtablepod.fandomland.com. I'll say it again because it's great. squareroundtablepod.fandomland.com. And also you can check us out if you can't check us out on squareroundtablepod at fandomland.com. You can check us out on Rap Nerd. We post on there every Tuesday and I think maybe Thursday. If you can't by any means check us out on those things, you can check us out on YouTube and you'll be able to see all of our pretty faces. If you like the videos, smack that like button or Thanos will literally snap you out of existence.
Yes, sir.
Comment on the video of anything that we put in here in the video. Who's your top 3 villains? Who do you think will win it versus Darkseid and Thanos? and anything else that we've said in this video. And also share the video because it helps us out a lot. Hit the notification bell on the right side of the video so you get notified of this video and the video afterwards. And follow us on all our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter, at Pesky Facebook group, and possibly in the future, TikTok. This has been the Square Roundtable Podcast. I have been your host, Demetrius Clark, and
I've been your host, Josh Singleton. Hashtag yes, hashtag no.
And I'm your guy, Marcus Long.
this has been the Square Roundtable Podcast, and we are out. Peace.